Chapter 23. The Last Christmas. 8 a.m., 148 Festive Lane, Lake Forest, Illinois. As the sun peered through the open draperies in the main bedroom, Michael slowly opened his eyes to see the clock on the nightstand. Wow, 8 a.m. already. We have to get up. Only 10 hours left. He turned to feel for Arianna but felt nothing except the coolness of the satin sheets beneath his hand. He sprung up into a sitting position and frantically looked around the room. The fireplace continued to burn and the music was still playing from the night before. He jumped out of bed and ran over to the bedroom door. As he swung open the door, he ran out of the room and into the hallway. The door to the guest room next to the main bedroom opened as well. Uncle Wally walked out of the guest room with a cigar hanging out of his mouth. As Wally turned to close the door behind him, he noticed Michael standing a few feet away.
"Ha! And you talk about me. At least I wear a sheet when I cruise the hallway looking for babes. Really, Michael."
Michael suddenly realized that he was standing in the middle of the hallway, stark naked. As he tried to cover himself with his hands, he explained to Wally, "I was looking for Arianna, but she wasn't there when I woke up and—"
"Spare me the gory details, Michael. It's painfully obvious that you are looking for Arianna, you goofy humans. Go get some clothes on and come down to breakfast," he replied.
Michael continued to plead his case when Arianna's mother suddenly exited the guest bedroom. "Michael, did you forget something this morning?" she asked. "Oh, my God!" shouted Michael as he ran bare-bottomed to the main bedroom and slammed the door behind him. "I can see why Arianna loves him so. Shyness is a very seductive quality, and so is that cute little butt," she said.
"Marie, you should be ashamed of yourself," said Wally.
"I should be ashamed of myself? Oh, really? So tell me, Wally, how is Lucy doing these days?"
"Oh, for God's sake, that was 6 years ago."
"Not from what I hear," she said, as she walked toward the stairway. Uncle Wally ran after her quickly.
"What have you heard? Is someone spreading vicious rumors about me again? Where do they come up with this stuff? Hey, wait a minute there, Marie."
As she continued down the stairway, Wally continued his barrage of questions and denials. Marie simply smiled to herself as she descended to the first floor. As Marie and Wally continued to bicker, they entered the kitchen. Arianna and Wanda, awake for several hours, were preparing breakfast for 70 and greeted them. "Good morning, Uncle Wally. Sleep well?" Arianna asked.
"I slept fine, Arianna, but I think Michael might be a bit restless. I just saw him roaming the halls in his birthday suit looking for you."
"Birthday suit? And I'm down here making pancakes? Go figure," she responded. At that moment, Michael, now fully dressed, dashed into the kitchen. As he slid across the slippery waxed floor in stocking feet, he yelled, "Good morning, everyone." 12 people were sitting in the kitchen area at the time, and they all responded, "Merry Christmas, Michael." Michael slid over to Arianna. "Why didn't you wake me up? I don't want to waste what little time we have left sleeping." "Michael, you were exhausted. You can't expect to stay awake for 24 hours straight. We have lots of time left. Are you hungry?" "I'm famished." "Well, set yourself down and I'll start serving you some of these flapjacks," Wanda said. Michael pulled a chair out from under the kitchen table. Just as he was about to sit down, he asked, "Where is Jack this morning? Still sleeping?" "No, he's out on your deck. It seems a few of the guests have discovered your hot tub. Jack is soaking in there now. Why don't you tell him breakfast is ready? That should get him out of that thing before he turns into a prune," Wanda replied. Michael walked away from the kitchen table and opened the French doors leading to the deck. He saw Jack sipping on a cup of coffee as he sat in the 6-person jacuzzi by himself. Steam rose from the water, which was heated to a comfortable 102 degrees. The sun porch windows covering most of the deck were opaque from the frosted moisture, which crystallized onto the cold glass. "Looks like you're pretty relaxed on this Christmas morning," Michael said.
"Mikey, Merry Christmas, buddy. Hey, I love this thing. We should have had one of these years ago."
"I know, isn't it great? It's always ready, just
Flip back the cover and slide on in. I could stay here all day. It could be a little bigger, but I still like it. Still can't see how you could fit another person in here, though.
Another person? Try 5 more people, Jack. That tub is designed to hold 6 people in total.
6 people? I don't think so, Michael. This is just the right size for me alone.
Well, I should correct myself and say 6 average-sized people.
Hey, 6 feet 7 inches, 294 pounds is average in my book.
Okay, Mr. Average, get out of that jacuzzi and come get breakfast. And that's an order from your lovely wife.
Breakfast sounds good to me. I'll be right in.
Michael walked back to the kitchen and announced that the giant was getting dressed and would be joining the rest of the guests for breakfast. Everyone within earshot grabbed a plate and started loading up on pancakes as fast as possible. Michael watched the mad dash to get some food before Jack came in. I see Jack's reputation of being a big eater still sends shivers down the spines of all men, mortal or not. They used to have a pie-eating contest at the annual 4th of July celebration here in Lake Forest, but then we moved here. Jack entered the contest for the first time, and the village was so embarrassed after running out of pies that they never had it again, Wanda said. Jack opened the door from the deck and entered the kitchen.
Fee-fi-fo-thum, I smell pancakes and want me some.
They all laughed as Jack and Michael took a seat at the kitchen table. Michael looked like a dwarf sitting next to Jack. Wanda set a large platter of pancakes down at the table. As Michael reached for the plate, Jack turned to him.
If you value your life, get your hand off that plate. Those are mine.
Arianna brought a smaller plate of 6 pancakes over to Michael. These are yours, Michael. Jack has been known to bite, so I wouldn't try taking any of his pancakes. If you want more, just ask. Jack smiled at Michael.
You have a brilliant wife. I suggest you listen to her.
Then he laughed a gruesome hackle, and Michael just shook his head. Nicole came running into the kitchen and jumped into Michael's lap.
Daddy, I love my room. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for building it for me.
You are very welcome. Hey, you know who came while you were sleeping, don't you?
Who came, Daddy?
Santa Claus, and he brought you presents.
But we aren't allowed to accept any gifts, not even from Santa,
she said solemnly. Well, I think the rule is you can't take the gifts back when you leave, but you can play with them here. And when you come back next year, you can play with them again, and every year after that as well, he replied.
Oh, goody. Mommy, is it okay?
Yes, Nicole, it's okay, but as Daddy said, you have to leave all the presents here until next year. Jack and Wanda became uncomfortable as they watched and listened to Nicole's exchange with her parents. They were tempted to tell Michael and Arianna of the decision that was made the previous night.
Michael, I don't know if this is such a good idea. I mean, next year.
Martha cut Jack off as she entered the room.
Next year is a long time to wait to play with presents, is what Jack is trying to say, Michael.
Good morning, Martha. Well, I think it's no different from kids of divorced parents with toys in both houses. They may not get to play with them all of the time, but once in a while is better than not at all. I don't think there's any harm in letting her have a few toys to play with while she is here, Michael replied. I promise she will leave them here and not take them back with her. I don't want any problems with this mass and matter business.
Okay, Michael. I guess if David gets to play his guitar when he is visiting, then Nicole should have the same opportunity. Goody! Time to open presents from Santa!
Yelled Nicole as she jumped off of Michael's lap and ran into the family room by the Christmas tree. Now, you wait, Nicole. I have to wake up David. Santa brought him some presents as well, Michael shouted to her. I will go up and wake David. He was up pretty late jamming with his Uncle Billy, Arianna said. As Arianna headed upstairs, Michael talked with Martha. You know, it's extraordinary. I mean, of course, this whole situation is weird, but buying presents for the kids and Arianna was a very strange experience.
How so, Michael?
I realized that when I was buying Nicole a baby doll, I would always buy her a baby doll. I mean, she will always be 5 years old. I will never buy her anything else except toys suited for a 5-year-old. The same with David. I will never buy him his first car, a shaver, or anything else that would not be considered proper for a 16-year-old. It's just bizarre always to buy the same type of gifts year after year.
Yes, you are correct in that assumption. But keep in mind that you will change as much as they stay the same. Physically, you will grow older. Mentally, you will not always be as sharp as you are today. What happens 40 years from now when you are in your 70s and Arianna is still a beautiful 30?
Uncle Wally, who was passing through to go to the family room for the gift opening, said,
You won't be running around in the hallways naked then, Michael.
He's right, Michael. Arianna will still be a vivacious, sensual woman, and you will be an old man with little, if any, desire to make love. It would be best if you thought about that, Michael. Sometimes getting on with your life might just be the best solution. You could still see all of us, but you could grow old with someone else. It really would be the best of both worlds.
Whether young or old, my heart will always belong to Arianna. I have no intention of dating or marrying anyone else, and that, my friends, is the end of that discussion, Michael said as he rose from his chair and walked into the family room.
I guess you were right, Martha. He is determined to waste his life away for 1 day a year, Jack said.
Yes, I'm afraid we have no choice but to go along with our decision.
Arianna and David came down from the second floor and entered the kitchen. Morning, everyone, David said.
Good morning, David. Did you sleep well?
Asked Martha. I guess I did. It's weird to sleep again. It's weird to eat and drink again, too. Guess I'll just have to get used to doing this once a year, he replied. Okay, everyone, let's go into the family room so David and Nicole can open their presents from Santa, Arianna announced. Mom, there is no Santa. And why did Dad buy us gifts? We can't take them back with us. It seems like such a waste, David said. David, your father is as lost as we are with how to handle this situation. Please let him enjoy the moment. If he feels he has to give you a present to show you his love, then accept it within your heart. He will feel your love in return. It is the only present we can give him, she replied. Arianna took David by the hand as they walked into the family room. Michael was sitting by the Christmas tree wearing a red Santa cap as he searched for presents under the tree. The guests gathered to watch the exchange of gifts between Michael and his family. As Michael read the tag on each present, he shouted out the recipients' names. One by one, pretty boxes wrapped in an array of colors were passed throughout the crowd. Most of the gifts were for Nicole and David. However, Michael had not forgotten his parents and other relatives. Except for Nicole, David, and Arianna's gifts, none were material items. Everything was consumable, thus every gift could be consumed and therefore kept. The guests were appreciative of Michael's presence. However, they all felt very awkward, since they were not allowed to bring Michael a gift in return. Michael called out Arianna's name as he read the tag from a small box wrapped in shiny gold paper. As he handed the box to his wife, she smiled and removed the gift paper from it slowly. She opened the small box's lid and revealed a beautiful gold necklace with a heart-shaped pendant attached. Arianna's favorite gems outlined the gold heart setting with blue sapphires and white diamonds. She kissed Michael softly and asked him to help her put the necklace around her neck. As he did, she commented on how everyone should remind her that she was wearing it when she left the house. Otherwise, she would take it back with her to heaven and never again be allowed to visit Michael at Christmas. The guests sadly smiled and looked at Martha, for they found Arianna's comments woefully ironic. As Arianna showed off the stunning necklace, Michael pushed the last gift out from behind the tree. It was a huge box, and Michael commented that someone must have been a good girl to receive such a big present from Santa Claus. Nicole's eyes lit up.
For me?
Nicole asked. Yes, sweetie. This is for you. As Nicole tugged at the red and white striped wrapping paper, the guests became more curious and moved closer for a better look. The box was bigger than Nicole, so Michael, Jack, and David helped her open the gift. David popped open the top of the box, and Michael and Jack reached inside, pulling the gift straight up and into the air. Nicole's eyes opened wide as they sat it down on the floor.
A rocking horse, Mommy. Santa brought me a rocking horse,
she exclaimed. This was not just any rocking horse. Michael found a slightly worn carousel horse from a merry-go-round at a recently shut-down amusement park. The colors of the horse were faded and desperately needed a touch-up. He spent many months refinishing the horse and then attaching it to the hand-carved wooden base with springs. The brass rod protruding from the horse's center was polished brightly, as were the metal stirrups hung off a leather saddle. Michael set Nicole on the back of the horse. As she rocked back and forth, Michael smiled from ear to ear. This memory of seeing her so happy is the best gift I could have ever wished for. The guests surrounded the rocking horse and admired the amount of detail that Michael painstakingly recreated for his daughter to enjoy. The love in the room was abundant as Christmas carols played in the background and eggnog was passed around. Arianna walked toward Michael and hugged him. The only gift I have for you is me. I will take that present year after year after year, he replied as he kissed her lips softly. What time is it? Michael looked at his watch. It's nearly afternoon. Opening presents took longer than I thought it would. We still have several hours. Come lay with me upstairs. I couldn't think of a better way to spend the rest of my Christmas, he replied. As Michael and Arianna retreated to the upstairs main bedroom, the guests continued to eat and talk the hours away. Uncle Wally told jokes. Arthur and Marie told Dennis stories of their younger days. Dorothy and Anthony played with their granddaughter and her new rocking horse. David and Uncle Billy were in the music room, composing an original song. Everyone was having fun, except for Martha. Martha had mixed emotions about the decision. She convinced the others to agree about giving up their privilege to visit Michael at Christmas. As she sat second-guessing herself, the grandfather clock struck out the hour on every hour. Martha sat for several hours thinking about the Carter family. Chime, 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 chime. The grandfather clock announced to the guests that it was once again 6 p.m. on Christmas Day. It was time to say goodbye. Michael and Arianna transcended the stairs, for they watched the minutes tick away as they lay in each other's arms for the last several hours. Michael was visibly upset and saddened by the passing of time. I can't believe it's already time for you to leave. It seemed to take forever for you to get here, and then, in the blink of an eye, the time for you to leave has come so quickly. I know, Michael. I wish we could spend every day like today, but I guess we should just be thankful that we have this one day per year, thanks to Martha and this beautiful house. As Martha and Arianna reached the foyer area, guests put on their coats and grabbed their empty trays and platters. One by one they exited the house and walked into the darkness. Michael hugged and kissed each of them as he bid them farewell until the following year. Jack and Wanda arrived in the foyer, and Michael became teary-eyed. I'm going to miss you both very much. Please look after my family over the next year. You have always been there for me, Jack. I love you both, said Michael as he choked up with emotion.
Take care of yourself, dear friend. Have a great life. We'll be seeing you around, Jack replied. Hey, next year, I will beat you at a pancake-eating contest, Jack. Sure, Mikey. Whatever you say. Merry Christmas, he replied as he left the house.
Wanda said not a word, but hugged Michael tightly and ran from the house crying. As she caught up with Jack, they walked toward the street. and vanished into the night. Michael and Arianna's parents were the next to leave, and unlike previous years of joyful goodbyes, they were deeply saddened this time. "Merry Christmas, Mom and Dad, it's okay. I'll see you next year," Michael said. They all just stood there, crying as they hugged and kissed Michael goodbye. Michael was starting to question why everyone was so unhappy, but then assumed it was merely because he was sad. The situation was much different this year than in years past. Dennis joined the family at the front door and told Michael that he would walk out with his parents, but he would return. As both sets of parents and Dennis departed out the front door, Michael turned to find Arianna, David, and Nicole standing in front of him. Except for Martha, they were the last to leave. Michael dropped to his knees, took Nicole into his arms, and hugged her petite body repeatedly. She kissed Michael on the cheek.
"Thanks for my horse, Daddy. Merry Christmas. I love you."
She ran out of the door and waited for her mother to join her on the front step. David extended his hand as Michael stood wiping the tears from his eyes. "I'm going to miss you, Dad." Michael bypassed David's hand and wrapped his arms around him as he brought him close to his chest. David broke away from his father's grip, and as he headed out the front door, he shouted, "Merry Christmas, Dad. I love you." Michael continued to weep as Arianna placed her hands on his face and wiped the tears away. "It's okay, Michael. I love you with all of my heart." Michael looked at her neck and saw the heart-shaped pendant hanging from the gold chain. "Speaking of hearts, you need to take that off, or I will never see you again," Michael said. He helped Arianna undo the necklace and placed it inside his pants pocket. At that moment, Martha walked into the room.
"Time to go, Arianna. I'm sorry, child, but rules are rules."
Arianna smiled at Martha and turned to Michael. "I love you so much. Time will pass fast. I will be here again before you know it." She kissed him deeply and ran out the front door. Michael turned toward the door and watched his family as they walked toward the street. They stopped and waved at Michael. He waved back as they continued to walk and then vanished into the foggy darkness of the evening. Martha came up to Michael and laid her hands on his face.
"Michael, I have something imperative to tell you. I think we'd better sit down for a minute."
Michael walked away from the front door as Martha took his arm and led him into the dining room. As they sat at the dining room table, Martha took Michael's hands into her own.
"Michael, a decision has been made by all of the guests that visited your home this evening, all except Arianna and your children, who will learn of this decision shortly. It has become evident that your life would be wasted waiting for Christmas Eve to come around year after year. You have made it clear that you will never remarry, and you will live your life as a hermit every day but Christmas. This is not how a young man should spend the rest of his life. If you were going to die soon, I might have felt different. But I have it from a very reliable source that you will live a very long life. We all want that life to be just as happy as it will be long."
"Martha, what are you trying to say?"
"Michael, none of us will be returning to revisit you. We have all decided to give up our privilege of visiting you to eliminate your planning your life around our visits. You will be forced to get on with your life."
"No, wait, you can't do this."
"Michael, hush. It is the best thing for you and us. And to make sure that none of us could change our minds, we have purposely left you a gift of mass and matter sitting by the Christmas tree. This is a clear violation of the rules of this house. We are not allowed to return because we have left you such a gift."
"I don't want some stupid gift of mass and matter. I just want you and my family to be with me on Christmas."
"Michael, the decision has been made, and it cannot be reversed.
We all love you dearly, which is why we are doing this. God bless you, child. You will find happiness and love without our annual visits. I have to leave now, Michael. Merry Christmas, she said as she stood up from the table and walked to the front door. No, wait, Martha, please come back. What did I do wrong? I built the house. I regained my faith. What did I do wrong? He shouted as Martha opened the storm door and walked into the darkness. Michael continued to yell after her, Martha, Martha, please come back, Martha. As Michael stood looking out into the night air, he saw nothing but fog and light snow falling to the ground through his tears. He stepped back into the house and sat down on the second step of the staircase. He lowered his head and covered his face with his hands as he intensely wept. Many minutes passed until his crying subsided, for Michael finally ran out of tears. He stood up and slowly walked into the family room. Looking at the fireplace, he saw a crystal decanter sitting on the mantel. The decanter was filled with whiskey. Michael took a glass sitting on the nearby table and then grabbed the bottle from the mantel. As he sat down on the fireplace's apron, he removed the crystal stopper from the decanter and filled his glass 3/4 full. As he set the bottle down on the floor and raised the glass to his lips, he saw a white envelope balanced on the back of the rocking horse. He set his glass on the floor next to the decanter and walked to the horse positioned near the Christmas tree. As he reached for the envelope, he saw the notation on the front.
Merry Christmas, Michael, from your family and friends.
He opened the envelope and pulled a piece of paper folded into 3 parts. He unfolded the paper and read the letter. It just read,
Our gift to you is love, faith, and family. Merry Christmas, Michael.
And all of the guests signed it. Michael stared at the letter for a few more seconds. He was confused. Love, faith, and family were not gifts of mass and matter. Why can't the guests come back next year for leaving me these consumable feelings? He became outraged and kicked the rocking horse so hard that it slid into the Christmas tree and shattered several glass ornaments into 1,000 little pieces. As he stared at the broken colored glass lying on the floor, he couldn't help but think how the shattered glass pieces that were once solid and beautiful were the perfect metaphor for his life. In a matter of seconds, his life, like the fragile glass ornament, was reduced to shattered and crumbled ruins. He walked back to the fireplace and sat on the apron. He heard the front door open and shut. He yelled out, I'm in the family room, Denny. Come in here. I need you to help me sort this all out. As he sat and pondered the letter, he heard the footsteps enter the room. I got this letter from all of the guests, and Martha said that... He stopped talking as he looked up, expecting to see Denny, but instead he saw Arianna and the children standing before him. Arianna and David were crying. Michael stood up with the letter still in his hand. Arianna, David, Nicole, what are you doing here? We walked into the darkness, but we never vanished. We just stood there for several minutes. We had never done this before, and we were so scared and confused. Then, out of nowhere, Martha came to us. She told us not to be scared, and then she said, Welcome home, Mass and Matter. Merry Christmas. And then she vanished. What did she mean by that, Michael? Asked Arianna. Michael looked at the letter, and then realized that the gifts of Mass and Matter that the guests left behind for him were his family. Arianna, David, and Nicole were home to stay. Michael ran to Arianna and the children and hugged them all tightly and kissed them repeatedly. He placed his hands on Arianna's face and looked deep into her eyes. You're not dead anymore. You're home. Martha said that the guests decided never to revisit me because they felt I would be wasting my life waiting for you to come here every Christmas. My God, they gave up their opportunity of immortality so that we could be together again. What are you talking about, Michael? Asked Arianna. Don't you see what has happened? They left behind a gift of Mass and Matter. They did so knowing they could never return. The three of you are that gift. That's what Martha meant when she said to you, 'Welcome home, mass and matter.'" "Oh, my God, no, Michael, you must be mistaken. How could they do this? Why didn't they tell us they were doing this?" Arianna asked. "Because if they had told us, we would have never agreed to it." "Michael, is this actually happening? Are we here for good?" Michael hugged her and kissed her. "I will never let you go again. My undying love for you has brought you back to me. It will keep you here for the rest of my life, which I have been assured from a very reliable source will be very long and now also full of happiness." Michael reached into his pocket and pulled out the white diamond and blue sapphire necklace. "I believe this heart and the one inside of me belong to you," he said as he attached the necklace around Arianna's neck. "Does this mean I have to go back to school on Monday?" David interrupted. "I don't think that would be a wise idea, David. Might create quite a stir." "Oh, Michael, we have to move. We can't stay here. We will surely be recognized in no time at all. How will the kids attend school? How will I work? I can't go back to the police station. They will think I'm a ghost. This will be very difficult to explain," Arianna said. "Arianna, relax. We are going to move as quickly as possible. The magic of this house is no longer available to us. We should move and let another family live in this magical home. A family that will be able to appreciate the wonders this house can bring to a loving, caring family." Michael embraced Arianna in front of the Christmas tree and picked Nicole up in his arms. "Thank you, Martha. Thank you for all of your generosity and your love, but most of all, thank you for giving me my family once again." 3 months later. As time passed, Arianna and the children seldom left the house on Festive Lane. She asked Michael to visit the library to check out suitable books for David to study until he could be enrolled in a new school under a new identity. Nicole was busy playing cowgirl on her hobby horse and had been relatively easy to control. David, on the other hand, was not happy. In his mind, he missed a full year of school. All of his classmates were now seniors in high school, when he would be starting over as a junior at another school. He wanted to go outside and hang out with other kids. He was getting bored being a prisoner in his own house. Michael and Arianna were at their wits' end, trying to help David adjust to life. Unfortunately, Arianna was not doing much better herself. She was happy to be with Michael again, but the lack of freedom was driving her crazy. She counted the days until they would move to their new home, so she and the kids could once again live life as they once remembered. Michael was living life to the fullest. The happiness in his heart was so great, he felt like he was walking on air every waking moment. His love for Arianna was more vital than ever. He spent a substantial amount of time with his children and worked less. Work would always be there, as he knew all too well his family may not. Life was good for the Carters. Life was also good for the Kowalskis. On his way back to the house after walking out with his parents that Christmas night, Dennis ran into a beautiful woman dressed up as Mrs. Santa Claus. Dennis and Sharon are due to be married in June. The Carters followed a moving truck to their new yet smaller home in Algonquin, Illinois, at the end of March. Algonquin was a lovely middle-class suburb 60 miles west of Lake Forest. Great schools and a healthy population of kids awaited David and Nicole's arrival. Michael sold the house on Festive Lane to a wealthy couple who had 3 children of their own. Unlike the previous attempts to sell the house, this transaction went through without any conditions applied to the sale. The local realtor, Thomas Clark, finally made a commission from the home sale, and the buyers were not even remotely related to Tony Cesario. Michael took the profits from the house on Festive Lane and donated the majority to charity, as he and Arianna always intended. Michael and his family were back together. Michael often reminded Arianna of a phrase Martha said to them once.
Paradise is anywhere that I can be with you.
And a modest 4-bedroom ranch home in Algonquin was all the paradise they would ever need. As they looked back over their short 5 years at the house on Festive Lane, they realized that it was an incredible experience that they would not have missed for the world. The house brought them many years of joy and happiness, as well as desperate times and moments of anguish. They learned a great deal from the home. Michael regained his faith forever and understood life much better these days. Should he ever lose a loved one again before he passed on himself, he would not blame God for the loss. It was part of life. Michael was grateful to have a second chance with his family, to live his life without questioning every disappointment. 5:59, Christmas Eve, 148 Festive Lane. At the house on Festive Lane, a family of 5 sits down to a Christmas dinner. The parents are in their mid-40s, and their children, a boy and 2 girls, are 16, 13, and 10, respectively. An older couple, walking hand in hand, approaches the front walkway carrying trays of cookies. They step up onto the front step and ring the doorbell.
"Merry Christmas, Susan,"
they shouted as the front door opened. "Holy shit," the woman exclaims. It was precisely 1 minute after 6 on Christmas Eve. Life can take many twists and turns. We have to keep an open mind and a loving heart to find our way. Thus, the next time you walk down a crowded street, you may see someone you think you recognize. You may be startled and confused when you realize that the person you thought you saw was an old friend or family member that has been gone for many years. When this happens, and it will, don't let common sense steal away that split second that may allow you to call out their name and embrace their love once again. That split second may be the difference between a lifetime without them or a little slice of magic that can only be described as heaven on earth. The end.